Section 5 Auto Brokers. What's the difference between a dealer and a broker? A dealer owns the vehicle they're selling. An auto broker never owns the vehicle. It's like real estate brokers, right? They don't own all those houses. They just know people selling houses, they know people looking for houses, and they connect them up. And they charge a fee for doing that, right? They put the deal together, right? That's brokering for real estate. Auto brokers are the same way. They don't own the vehicles. They just know dealers that have them. They know private parties that want to buy them, and they hook them up and they arrange a sale. So how does one become an auto broker in California? Well, you get what's called an auto broker endorsement. It's an add-on to your dealer license. Now, when I got my dealer license, my most recent one back in 2016, in this book, I had an option that you don't have right now. And I was able to get my auto broker endorsement, the add-on, to a wholesale dealer license. Now in 2018, DMV changed the rule and to say only retail dealers can get the auto broker endorsement added to their license. So the only difference between the application I have in here and the one that you would be doing is I was able to check the box wholesale dealer and auto broker endorsement. For you, it's only going to be retail dealer and auto broker endorsement. So how do you get the broker endorsement? When you're filling out the application, check auto retail sales and auto broker endorsement. It's going to cost you an extra $100 with your application fee, and you just get it. Or you can always get it later. Get your license now. 3 years from now, you decide, yeah, I'd like to try that brokering thing. What do? You get the famous OL21 form, right? The change order form. Go down through the list of changes on there till you get to add an auto broker endorsement. You check the box. You write a check for $100. You give it to your inspector. You get the auto broker endorsement. Now, let me show you how you broker a deal, and you'll see just how easy this is. So here's a hypothetical. I'm an auto broker, and I advertise Crazy Arts Auto Brokerage. I can get you a better deal on any used vehicle than you can get yourself. My commission included. And my famous advertising line is, are you ready for this? You're probably not. But it's so bad it's good. You're crazy if you don't hire Crazy Art. Like I said, that was so bad it was good. All right, so I get a phone call. It's Joe. Joe calls me up and says, hey, my name's Joe. I'm looking for a car, Crazy Art. Kind of a hard-to-find car, rare car. Thought maybe you being the car guy and all, you could help me find it. What are you looking for, Joe? 2009 Mercedes 550 SL Special California Edition. They only built 435 of them. Special AMG package, special trim, special chip. He says, I want one with low miles, less than 10,000 miles. He says, the figure's going to cost me about 40 grand, Crazy Art. If you can find me one for less than that, including your commission and all, I'll buy it through you. Well, kind of a no-brainer, right? If I can find him a better deal, why wouldn't he buy it through me? So I say, all right, Joe, let me check around and get back to you. All right, so I call up my friend Susan. She's a used car dealer, specializes in late model luxury cars. I figure if anybody knows where to find the car in this area, Susan's the one I want. So I call her up and go, hey, Susan, it's Crazy Art. Hey, I got some guy looking for some special whoop-de-doo Mercedes California thingamabob. You know anything about that? She says, yeah, I do. I said, you know where I can get one? She says, yeah, I do. I said, we're going to get one, Susan. She says, I got it. Awesome. As a broker, I never own the vehicle. I know Joe who wants to buy it. I know Susan who's got it. And I'm going to hook them up, arrange the sale between the two of them, and I get paid. I can charge the buyer for finding the car. I can charge Susan, the selling dealer, for helping her sell the car. I can get paid by both on the same deal. That's brokering. All right? Now let me show you how easy it is. So now we got the fact pattern. Scroll down in your book to the next page, and you'll see the auto broker log, the DMV auto broker log. You're just going to download this log from the DMV's website. All right, now watch how I do the broker deal. In the left-hand column, all I need to do is put the vehicle ID number for the Mercedes. Next to that, the brokering agreement date. When we did the deal, I put the date in there. Next to that, selling dealer's name and address, Susan's awesome used car sales. Next to that, consumer's name, Joe. Done. Joe, pay me for finding the car. Susan, pay me for helping you sell the car. That's it. Pretty simple, right? So look, think about this. This gives you an additional income stream. Believe it or not, you're not going to have every car for everybody in inventory all the time, are you? So when people come to you and you don't have the car that they want, look, the longer you're in business, the more dealers you're going to know, the more you're going to know who's got what inventory. And you know what? You wind up scratching each other's back a lot more in this business than you do fighting each other. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I get a dealer license, I go to the auction, it's all competitive, whatever. You know who you're competing with? That person that day on that car when they raise their hand. Everybody else oftentimes is an ally, especially in the brokering area, right? Because if I don't have the car that Joe wants, but I know Susan does because Susan and I sell similar cars and we've become friends over the years, I'm going to send Joe down to Susan and say, hey, Susan, if Joe comes down and makes a deal, kick me down a few bucks. Yeah, now we're brokering, huh? Okay, so this just gives you another potential income stream. It only costs you $100 and you make this entry in the logbook. All right, now I want you to think about this. All right, what have I got invested in this? Time, okay? But who bought the car? Who's got all their money tied up in the car? Selling dealer does. Who's storing the car? Who's detailing the car? Selling dealer is. And who's doing all the DMV paperwork? Licensing and registration and all that kind of stuff? Selling dealer is. Being a broker is a very low overhead way to be in the car business. It's a cheap add-on, gives you another potential income stream. I highly recommend it. And I will tell you right now in my career, most of what I do is broker. I don't own nearly the inventory I used to own because I'm just dealing on information. I've been doing this long enough that I have a kind of a long customer book of people that I've either sold their vehicles or I've bought vehicles for. They contact me, Art, I'm looking for another. Can you help me out? You bet I can. Art, I need to sell my whatever. Can you help me? You bet I can. And I probably already know people who want to buy them, right? I'm connecting people up and getting paid to do it. It's awesome. So I recommend it. You don't have to do it now. You can always do it later. How do you do it later? You get the OL21 form, right? Check the box auto broker and do that. So keep it in mind, think about it. But scrolling down to the next page, you'll see where it says special auto broker agreement and deposit rules. There has been an issue historically with auto brokers and deposits. That's been a problem. And what brokers used to do is they get a deposit from the buyer before they go looking for the car, which is a smart idea. You'll figure that out pretty quickly before you start brokering. If you don't, you can go out and spend weeks finding a car. And then I call Joe up and I go, Joe, I can't tell you what a deal I've got for you on this amazing Mercedes-Benz. And Joe says, oh, bummer, dude. I just bought a car yesterday from somebody else, right? So you waste all this time looking for a car and you're not going to get a dime because Joe bought from somebody else. But if I can get a deposit from Joe up front, right? He's kind of more tied to me now, right? He's invested in me. He's vested in this deal working with me. So he's more likely to stay with me. The problem was a lot of brokers would get these deposits and then they would feel like, let's say I get a $1,000 deposit from Joe, goes into my account. Well, the next day that's my money, right? And some brokers got lazy and they would spend that money either on their business or go on vacations with their family. And so down the road, the money is gone. The buyer's frustrated because you still haven't found the car, and then they wind up getting their own vehicle, and then they want their $1,000 back, and of course it's gone. And the way brokers weaseled out of this, they would say, Joe, I can't believe you bought a car from somebody else. And Joe's like, dude, it's been 3 months, and you don't even call me. Of course I did. Give me my $1,000 back. And the way the broker would get out of it is they would say, hey, Joe, what'd you pay for the car? And Joe would give some number, and the broker would go, what? You paid that much, Joe? I could have done that for you in 5 minutes. That was an easy deal. The reason it was taking me so long is I was really pounding the street trying to get you the super, super, super best deal. Well, that's why it took so long, which is a complete lie. And so, Joe, I need to keep that $1,000 to, compensate me for all the time I spent looking for the car. And Joe's like, that's a bunch of crap. And so the broker says, well, I'm not giving you $1,000 back. So Joe says, I'm going to call my lawyer. Joe calls his lawyer. His lawyer says, yeah, I hate those scum-sucking used car dealers, especially Crazy Art. He's the worst. All I need from you, Joe, is a $4,000 retainer, and we'll get you that $1,000 back. Now, Joe, being pretty smart, says that's a pretty stupid idea to pay $4,000 to a lawyer to get $1,000 back, right? So they don't hire the lawyer because it doesn't pencil out. They wind up leaving a few more rude phone messages, and then the buyers figure out, you know what, the broker's just a deadbeat. I'm wasting my time. I'm never going to get the money back, and they walk away. And some brokers actually figured that out as a whole business model. Is a serious problem. Brokers living off deposits. So the state came up with a new list of special deposit rules for when you're brokering. All right, I'm about to tell you those rules. But before I do, let me remind you, when you're a broker, you're also what? A retail dealer. So either as a test question or in real life, you have to ask yourself on any particular deal, if you're thinking about a deposit, who am I on this deal? Am I a dealer or a broker? Because it makes a difference. Here are the dealer deposit rules. This is pretty simple, straightforward. As a dealer, you can take an unlimited deposit on a vehicle that you're selling if it's in inventory, right? I could say, Joe, phone's ringing off the hook. Everybody wants the car. You in or not? I need 95% down right now. All right, I can do that. Why? Joe gives me 95% down. We got a secure deal because we got a buyer, we got a seller, we got the car, we got everything we need to complete the deal. He gives me the 95% down. It sits right here, Joe, until you show up with the other 5%. It's very secure. But let's say I'm a dealer, so I own the vehicle, but it's not here. It's at a body shop in Morgan Hill. Now Joe is giving me money for a car neither one of us have physical possession over, right? That's a lot sketchier, all right? So 0 deposit. So as a dealer, you can take as big a deposit as you want if the car is present. No car, no deposit. All right, now let's look at the new dealer deposit rules, right? Excuse me, at the new broker deposit rules. Remember, the broker doesn't own the vehicle. We know the past history here. It's sketchy with brokers and deposits. So these new deposit rules for brokers are going to be really strict. It's going to be a limited deposit. It's always going to remain refundable back to the buyer. So we're going to get rid of this whole problem of brokers living off deposits. So here are the deposit rules. Looking back to your course book, Special Auto Broker Agreement and Deposit Rules. Number 1, an auto broker must execute, that's a fancy word for sign, a brokering agreement and give a copy to the buyer, Joe, before the broker accepts $100 or more from the buyer or before the buyer signs a purchase contract, whichever occurs first. Okay, it's simple. It's a $100 deposit rule. As a broker, the moment you try to get $100 or more out of your buyer, you've got to have a signed brokering contract. These are all standard form contracts. They all say the same things. I'll tell you in a little bit where you get all these standard forms and stuff to do your business. All right, so the new brokering contract says, buyer, you get 100% refund anytime for any reason you want to back out of a brokering deal if the deposit is $100 or more, like real money. If it's $99 or less, well, we figure old Joe, he can lose $99. You shouldn't have hired Crazy Art. That was a bad choice, Joe. But if it's $100 or more, Joe, you're going to get that money back. When? Rule number 2 says immediately. As soon as your buyer wants to back out of the deal, you've got to give them the deposit back. Number 3, the maximum deposit a broker can accept from a consumer is really small now, 2.5%. Of the maximum price Joe is willing to pay. That's as big a deposit as I can take. No 10% down anymore, 5% or $1,000 or $500. 2.5% of the maximum deposit Joe's willing to pay. That's as big a deposit as I can take, and there's more. Number 4, the broker shall deposit any deposit or purchase money into a trust account until used for the actual purchase. Okay, back to the 15 steps. One of your 15 steps is go to your bank and open up a business checking account. Well, that's pretty simple. Go to your bank and open the checking account. If you're going to broker, open up a second business checking account. This one you're going to call your trust account, and it has to be federally insured, which it will be. And what a trust account means is somebody else is trusting you with their money. In this case, Joe is trusting me with his money. It's not my money, it's Joe's money. It's always your client's money in the trust account. But you're being trusted to manage that money and use it for your client's best interest. So if I find the car that Joe wants and Susan's got it, I can take the money, his money from the deposit from the trust account, give it to Susan to hold the car for Joe. If I cannot find the car, the money goes back to Joe. It's always Joe's money. It's either going to get him the car he wants or it goes back to Joe. You never pay yourself out of a trust account. That's breaking Joe's trust. That's stealing. That's what the trust account is all about. So it's protected. Number 5, the broker must inform the consumer as soon as practicable whether the broker does or does not receive a fee or other compensation from the selling dealer. Okay. All right. So I told you I can charge Joe for finding the car. I can get paid by Susan for selling the car. I can get paid by both. But if I'm getting paid by the selling dealer, I got to tell the buyer that. Why? Fairness. You see, when Joe hired me, he has the right to believe I'm going to use my reasonable, best, good faith effort to get him a good, fair deal on the vehicle. All right? That's good business. It keeps him coming back for more business. He's going to be happy, hopefully get referrals, right? It's good business. And normally I would do that, except this time. Why? Oh, because this time we're working with my friend Susan. Yeah, Susan and me, we're going to probably broker 30 cars together this year. Joe doesn't know that. Susan's really my long-term friend, my long-term relationship. So if I'm in doubt here about who to help out more, I'm probably going to help out Susan more, which is against Joe's interest. It's a conflict of interest to represent both sides in a deal like that. And it's okay with the DMV so long as you just tell Joe the selling dealer is paying you. I don't even have to tell Joe how much. just that I'm getting paid by the selling dealer. Because once you do that to the buyer, that puts a red flag up in their mind, right? That says, ooh, I wonder how much Art's getting from Susan, right? Because he's getting paid by me and Susan. Of course, Art wants the deal to go through. So it puts them a little bit more on notice to look out for themselves, right? So you need to advise the buyer that you're getting paid by the selling dealer. And I always tell students, when you have something bad to say or something that's against your interest like this, which is like, hey, you know, I might be making more money than you think, put it in writing and have the buyer sign it. Otherwise, you got no proof you told them. And if it's your word against their word in a court of law, no one's going to believe the used car dealer over a private party, right? So that's how you do it. Put it in writing and have them sign it. Okay, scrolling down, let's go to the end of the brokering section here, which is going to end with auto broker advertising. Okay, so scroll down to that and it says auto broker advertising. An auto broker may advertise his or her brokering services for the purchase of a new motor vehicle from a franchised new motor vehicle dealer and may specify in the line, makes, and models of those new vehicles. Auto brokers may not advertise the price or payment terms of any new vehicle and shall disclose that the advertiser is an auto broker or auto buying service. All right, so we can advertise that we're brokers or buying services, but we can't advertise price. Why? The selling dealer sets the price, not us. Also, we can broker brand new vehicles. Look at that. We can be used vehicle dealers, and now with this auto broker endorsement, we can be brokering brand new cars. Okay, this is a pretty cool gig for $100, this add-on to your dealer license. People will pay you to help them buy brand new vehicles. All right, people love to go online, go to the manufacturer's website, completely outfit the car with the different option packages and everything. And when they get done, right, it says MSRP $50,000. Well, what does the average buyer think? They go, well, that's MSRP. I probably shouldn't pay that. I don't know how much I should pay, but it just strikes me as, you know, I've been told I don't pay MSRP, you negotiate. Well, they don't know how to negotiate. They don't know what the dealer's got in the vehicle. So what do? Go to TrueCar, and TrueCar says, well, this is what the average prices in your area. Well, nobody wants to pay average price. You want to be on the low end, right? So this is where the broker comes in. You see, for most people, you will be able as a broker to solve all their problems for you. First thing a buyer wants to do is go down to the dealership and talk to a salesperson? Probably not, right? And they know as soon as they call or talk to a salesperson, they're now paying that person. Whether that person is any help at all or it gets in the way, right? They're paying them. But if they hire you as a broker, they're paying you and you're on their side, right? You're helping your buyer get them a better deal, and you're going to know how to get them a way better deal because you're a dealer. And because you're a dealer, you're going to learn more. You're going to know more. You're going to know what time of the month to buy. You're going to know who to talk to at the dealership to not pay those fees. You're going to know what the latest factory to dealer incentives are, okay? You're going to have more leverage because you maybe do other brokering deals with this dealership that this poor consumer doesn't. You're going to save them time and money and make some money, okay? And the buyer's going to love you for doing that. So it's a real viable business. I've done it. So think about it. This whole brokering thing, it's only $100. You can broker new and used vehicles. I'm really a big fan. All right, that's going to take us down to section 6, consignment sales.